Steve Jobs said a person's success can be roughly measured by the number of hard conversations he or she is willing to have per day. And that quote really stuck with me. So, what I want to talk about in this video is, in my mind, the two things that have allowed me to accomplish 90% of the success I have today. And those two things are the ability to have hard conversations and self discipline. So, self discipline is pretty evident. I don't think I need to talk about it too much. The ability to follow through and do the things that you say you're going to do. However, hard conversations is something that doesn't get looked at enough. Now, really, what a hard conversation is you bringing forth the frame you want for your life, for reality, your desired outcome, assuming it's different from where you're at now, which for most people it will be. And then you are disappointing someone, surprising someone, somehow rocking the boat in order to realign your life the way you want it to be realigned. So there's big examples of this. There's small examples of this. One for me was, of course, when I quit my job almost 9 years ago. That was an extremely difficult conversation. And I remember still to the day, the manager that I was speaking to, she like started going red in the face and couldn't believe I was quitting because I had this prestigious job. My parents couldn't believe I was quitting. My coworkers, a lot of them thought I was crazy. And that was a situation where it was that conversation, that moment in time of me telling my manager, "Hey, I'm done," that my vision for my future actually aligned with the real world. And in order to do that, I disappointed my boss. I disappointed the people that hired me for that firm. I disappointed my parents at the time. I disappointed my coworkers. Everyone was like, "What the hell?" So that was an extreme example. And there's lots of other sub examples as well. Telling a client that I don't want to work with them, firing a client, being decisive in friends I want to spend time with or not spend time with, being decisive in relationships I want in my life or don't want in my life. And oftentimes the hard conversation involves disappointing someone else, because if there wasn't that element of disappointing someone else, then the conversation wouldn't really be that hard. And as humans, we're generally wired to be socially agreeable because, whatever, back in caveman days, that agreeableness kept us part of the tribe, kept us alive. So embedded in that fear of the hard conversation is actually the fear of death, just from a biological standpoint. Because if you were socially disruptive when humans were evolving and you were outcast from the tribe, you literally would have died. So that like biological fear is still there. And what I've found is that on the other side of hard conversations is not only the direct result of that conversation. So your life is realigned in the way that you made it happen through having that conversation, like quitting my job, turning down the client, etc. But also you build this inner strength and inner fortitude that you actually believe you're someone that's capable of affecting change in the world. And most people are not really capable of affecting any change. They follow the rules, they do what they're told, but they can't really change the course of their life or change the course of their organization's path or really anything. But if you are able to have hard conversations and with honor and respect, disappoint people, piss people off, surprise people, then you are proving to yourself that you're actually a man or a woman of action. You're able to actually affect change in the world. And that trickles through to the tone in your voice, the way you make eye contact with someone, and your power as a person. Now, self discipline is the other pillar, in my opinion. And similarly to hard conversations, beyond just the direct, tangible result of doing the things you said you were going to do, there is a inner trust, belief, strength that comes from following through on your own word. Self-discipline is really sticking to your own word. You say you're going to do something, whether it's as basic as a sleep schedule or as complex as sales calls and hiring people for a business, whatever it is. In addition to the benefit of doing it, more revenue, better sleep, better energy, you also build this knowledge that you're someone that follows through on what you say you're going to do. And this also just increases the strength of you as a person. And when you're talking to someone, when you're on a sales call, when you walk into a room, people that are able to have hard conversations and people that have excellent self discipline are going to almost automatically command respect of that room or command respect of the person they're sitting across the table from. And this is really important in any kind of personal or business endeavor. So I think that in both the cases of self discipline and hard conversations, it makes sense to start in steps. What I actually do is I keep a log of all the hard conversations I have in all areas of life. I write down the date I identified that the conversation needs to be had. And then I write down the date that I have the conversation. I journal what my thoughts and feelings were before and after. So now I can scroll back through, I think it's at like 70 or 80 examples of hard conversations now. I started this a few years ago and build up that resume of evidence. But you can start small. And if you sit down and do an inventory of your life, I bet you can identify 3, 4, 5, 10 hard conversations that you could have and that you've been putting off and start with the easy ones and then build momentum. That's what I found works the best. And same thing for self discipline. Set a simple habit, crush it impeccably for a couple of weeks, and then add more onto that. I think, I don't know, in the famous book Atomic Habits, I forget the time frame. It was either like 30, 60 days or something where the habit becomes automatic. So, set one habit, make it automatic, then set the next one. And it's incredible that I would say 98% of people do not have those two things dialed in, the ability to have hard conversations and self discipline. So if you just do these things, then you're already in the top 2%. And the effects of both of these compounds. So I'll leave you guys with that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Until next time, I'll see you later.